You'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who can name this Mississippi senator. Here's something you should know about him. Blanche Bruce represented Mississippi in the United States Senate from 1875 to 1881. That's a full 6-year term. He was born in Virginia, the son of Pettus Perkinson, a white plantation owner, and Polly Bruce, who was enslaved by Perkinson. Perkinson moved around a lot during Bruce's childhood, including stops in Mississippi and Missouri. It was while living there that Bruce escaped to Kansas during the turmoil of the Civil War. But the violence in Kansas led him back to Missouri, where he established the state's first school for black children in 1864, one of the many firsts associated with Blanche Bruce. After 2 years at Oberlin College, Bruce returned to the Mississippi Delta during Reconstruction and began attending meetings of the Republican Party. He'd quickly rise as a leader in Mississippi during the next few years, serving as an elections official, a tax assessor, a sheriff, and a county superintendent of education. In 1874, by a near unanimous vote, he was elected by the Mississippi legislature to serve as a U.S. Senator beginning in 1875. He would become the first black American to serve a full term in the U.S. Senate, the first black American to preside over the Senate, which means he was the first and only former slave to ever do so. He used his office to champion progressive causes. He rallied against the Chinese Exclusion Act, which banned the immigration of Chinese laborers. He condemned the treatment of indigenous Americans by the federal government. He fought for civil rights, especially for black veterans of the Civil War. And he openly supported an investigation into election violence against black voters in Mississippi. The congressional record reflects Bruce calling what was happening in his state a, quote, violent method for political supremacy that seeks not the protection of the rights of the aggressors, but the destruction of the rights of the party assailed. These events were happening near the end of Bruce's term, as the period of redemption began. Led by wealthy former planters and businessmen, redeemers sought to regain political power and reestablish white supremacy. By 1880, these redeemers had regained control of the State House and elected as Bruce's successor, this guy, which is the same as this guy, which is the same as this guy. James Z. George, a man who signed the Ordinance of Secession, a man who would later be a framer of the Constitution of 1890 and all the Jim Crow baked into it. The line of succession to Bruce's Senate seat also includes staunch 20th century segregationists like Theodore Bilbo and John C. Stennis. In the U.S. Capitol, each state gets 2 statues to honor persons notable in their history. Representing Mississippi are 2 Confederates, J.Z. George and Jefferson Davis. In the halls where Blanche Bruce served as a pioneer for black Americans, Mississippi chooses instead 2 men who fought to preserve his enslavement. By the way, that's Daisy Bates next to Jefferson Davis. She's a civil rights leader from Arkansas. Bruce remained a prominent figure in the National Republican Party after his term. At the 1880 party convention, he garnered 8 votes for vice president, making him the first black American to receive any votes for a national office in a major party. He spent the later years of his life mostly in Washington, D.C., still active in politics. His home there is a National Historic Landmark. Mississippi, though, has no registered historical site in recognition of Blanche Bruce, nor does he have an historical marker on record. But Mississippi does have 3 Confederate-themed state holidays, despite the fact that Blanche Bruce's service to the state outlasted the Confederacy.